This is the first Tuesday of the month Waupaca City Council meeting.
Welcome to tonight's regular scheduled City Council meeting. Today is Tuesday, August 1st, 2017, and it's now 6:02 p.m. instead of 6. And I call this meeting to order. Let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Everyone please rise, face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll ask Sandy to read the clerk's open meeting statement for us.
This meeting and all other meetings of the Common Council are open to the public. Proper notice has been posted and given to the press in accordance with Wisconsin state statutes, so that citizens may be aware of the time, place, and agenda of this meeting.
And also take roll for us, Sandy.
Brian Smith.
Here.
Steve Hackett.
Here.
Lori Chestnut.
Here.
Paul Hagan.
Here.
Alan Keeland.
Here.
Scott Perchatsky.
Here.
Dave Peterson.
Here.
Paul Mayo.
Here.
Chuck Whitman.
Here.
Mary Fair.
Here.
And Eric Olson.
Here.
10 present. We have a quorum.
Next is the consent agenda. These are items where we take with one motion and vote on all of these items together, unless there's any council member or staff that would like to see any of these items moved from the consent agenda to the regular agenda. If not, we'd be looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Whitman, second by Keelan, that we approve the consent agenda as printed. Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Under the regular agenda, Sandy has notified me that there are two items under 9B and C. You can delete those. They are not requesting anything at this time. We'll probably see that at a future meeting. So 9B and C are eliminated. Otherwise, the agenda is as printed. Look for a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Olson, second by Chestnut, that we approve of the regular agenda with those two deletions. Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. No announcements and correspondence that I know of tonight, but we do have public input. If there's anybody that would like to speak to the council on a non-agenda item, please step up to the podium, give your name and address for the record, and limit your time to 3 minutes or less. Anybody that would like to give public input?
Thank you for the opportunity, Mayor. Last time we were at the council meeting, I spoke out about our sick leave policy, and I just wanted to say that our assistant director has done an outstanding job for our community and our department. I'm happy for his success, and I think that his new community is lucky to have him. The position he leaves vacant provides essential services for our community and for our department. I spoke out at the last council meeting because I was experiencing sticker shock. Just when we feel as if we may be able to do some new things, some things to meet the needs of our community, we have a vacancy that will take a lot of our resources and our staff time. And I'm sure I'm not alone. Each one of our departments will experience this issue. And I do not believe that anybody's benefits that they've earned should be taken away. We have many loyal employees, and every one of them has earned that benefit. I feel we need to find a sustainable solution to the problem. For years, as long as I've been director, there have been, the city has struggled to maintain services with rising costs and little increase in revenue. And I understand the challenges. I just hope we can work together to find a solution that allows us to retain the quality of life for everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, Peg. Anybody else with public input? Any public input? All right, let's move on then to unfinished business. We have ordinance number 0217. This is an ordinance amending Chapter 9, the public peace and good order. This is actually the second reading, and I know John Hart was going to speak to us on that, and he did at the last meeting. He is unable to attend tonight. So you do have on page 70 of your packet the actual ordinance. I ask that did any council members or staff have any discussion between themselves or with the public that would concern us about changing this ordinance? If not, I think we'll just go ahead and ask for an approval of this since it is the second reading.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Keelan, second by Hackett, that we approve of the ordinance 0217, 2017. And this is the ordinance amending Chapter 9 of the Public Peace and Good Order. I think that's all we need to speak on. Any discussion? Yes, Steve.
I'd just like to ask a question on section 2, C1. It says no smoking in a sports arena. That does include the outside field, or does that be the arena have to be indoor facility? I assume it means outside Swan Park and Lakeland Field and.
Yeah, Dave, this, whoops. I believe we added item 4. That was the request of the city attorney to keep the, he amended the current to just include the item 4 because this was the issue around the city hall building.
So everything else
Yeah,
is the same. Dave.
Right.
Aaron, what is it, Lakeman Field? What's the skinny there?
So in my understanding of the ordinance is that we can't enforce anything even on the fields. I mean, it's a part of our leagues. It's a league rule that you cannot have tobacco on the fields or in the dugouts. But as far as the ordinance goes, it's never touched on that, and I have not been made aware that that part is changing. So in any of our organized activities, it's a league rule, even if it's adults, that there's no smoking in those areas. But as a part of this ordinance, that is not being addressed, from my understanding.
Does that answer your question? Okay.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, for section 9023, possession of firearms, if you have a concealed carry, I understand the section about the buildings, but the special event, let's say there's a street closure or you have some other event in which a public right-of-way is closed, is that also prohibited from the fact that it would not normally be prohibited?
Oh, Paul.
And then what, in this, what is the defined by state law section? What exactly does that?
But you were talking about, I mean, this is only talking about in the buildings.
Well, no, you have a special event or any special event. Does it, the buildings is one thought, and then you go on to a separate thought of or any special event. If that special event happens to be outside of a building, what is the situation there?
All right. So what you're asking, I don't know that I can answer, or Henry can, because it's a legal question. So if you prefer, we can hold off on this ordinance and take it at the next meeting when John Hart is here.
That would be my preference.
And that would answer Dave Peterson's question too. So who made anybody make the motion? I'm sorry.
I made the motion.
Are you okay
And
with
yes, I'm okay with deferring.
Okay. So he's going to just take back his motion and second, and we'll bring it up at the next council meeting.
I would be appreciative of that.
Yeah, absolutely. As always, don't be afraid to contact City Hall or City Attorney if you have any questions ahead of time to get these answered so that I mean, we could have asked Mr. Hart to be here tonight too, and he probably would have been, but didn't know that we were going to have any concerns. But with that said, we'll just carry it forward to the next meeting. All right, let's move on then. So there's no action on that tonight. And Henry and Sandy, we're going to put that on the agenda for next August 15th meeting? Okay. All right, we have under new business, then we have a request to use City Hall Library Public Square and Gazebo for the second annual Foundations for Living Sleepout on Saturday, September 23rd, 2017. And I see that Greg is making his way up to the podium. Greg, just give your name and address for the record and tell us a little bit about what you're planning.
My name's Greg Biba. I'm in my third year on the board of directors for Waupaca's Foundations for a Living. And with me are three of our representatives. And if they would like to say who they are and their roles, that'd be great.
I'm Mary Gangler. I'm the board chair for Foundations for Living. And my term is 3 years also with Greg. So we've been on quite a few years already.
Darla Amundsen, I'm the program director, 22 Foundation.
John Black, the new kid on the block, as far as being on the board.
My address is E914 Stratton Lake Road, Waupaca. This information, many of you were on the board last year and approved our first annual, our sleep out. Couldn't be an annual one, could it, if it was the first one? And it went very, very well. So I'm just going to give you some highlights. And if there's any questions for me or anybody else here, we'd be more than happy to talk to you about it, or any concerns you may have had since last year. The purpose of the Foundations for a Living Sleep Out has been organized to increase awareness of homelessness in Waupaca County, to give participants an opportunity to experience, at least in part, what it's like to be homeless, and to raise funds for Foundations for a Living Warming Center and Transitional Living Housing Programs. Some general information: the sleep out request would be in the town square right in front of the library and would run from 6 p.m. Saturday, September 23rd through 8 a.m. Sunday, September 24th. And the sleep out will involve sleeping outside with only minimal protection from the weather. And for safety reasons, participants will not be allowed to sleep in their cars. No tents, we discussed last year, would be allowed, and that worked out just fine. Food and beverages would be available between the hours of 7:30 p.m. and 8 p.m. and between 6 a.m. and 7:30 a.m. And participants would not be allowed to bring in food and beverages of their own, and toilet facilities would be provided in the form of a porta potty. Children, we welcome children 10 years and older to participate. However, for health and safety reasons, all participants under 14 years old must be accompanied by a reasonable adult who is at least 19 years old. Please, and we are requesting that the parking lot behind the library here would be available between the library and First National Bank and the First National Bank parking lots. All vehicles would have a parking permit. Vehicles without parking permits would be open to parking violations, and we would talk about how to get parking permits with Mr. Hosell. Are there any questions, Council?
Any questions? Chief Hosell, any comments that you can make about how last year's event went?
No, I think last year's event was a success. There wasn't any problems for our end, and I think we keep everything the same as we did last year.
Okay.
We did have the orange snow fence, which blocked the entire front of the library area, and we also had I'm not sure if he was an off-duty officer of yours or sheriff patrolling, was it between midnight and 2 or 3 a.m., Darla, roughly? So we would be going through to request that as well.
Justin, from a public works standpoint, no issues last year that you can think of? Okay. Awesome. what we'd be looking for, if you guys are okay with that, is approving the second annual sleep out for September 23rd.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Hackett, second by Hagan, that we approve of the second annual Foundation for Living Sleep Out, which will be held on the city square, and this will be Saturday, September 23rd, 2017. Any discussion?
Excuse me, Mayor, I was just told that the request date might change by a day, to, instead of Saturday, September 23rd into Sunday the 24th, we're requesting Friday, September 22nd into Saturday, September 23rd. Is that right, Delray?
Oh, then you gotta get out.
Chief?
We're okay? We don't have a band concert or anything like that night, I'm guessing, right? It's not homecoming?
No. Homecoming is in October.
Okay. All
We
right,
checked on that.
all right. Okay, everybody okay with that? The people that made the motion? Switching from the 22nd, Friday night, the 22nd, through, when will it end on, like,
About 8 a.m. on Saturday morning.
okay, awesome.
Mayor,
Well,
when
you-
is October, that with Justman in the group? What night is that?
When is your
September
October
16th.
September 16th, okay. I just wanted to make sure there wasn't conflict there.
How do people donate for this event?
Delray, would you mind, or Mary, talk about the donation process, please?
My name is Darla Ray Amundsen, Foundations for Living, and 3636 Maury Drive. The way the donations work is it's kind of like a walkathon. You get pledges from people for sleeping out, and that money goes directly to Foundations for Living for their warming center and other programs that we run for homelessness.
How many people did you have last year?
I believe there was there 23 people that slept out?
Roughly. I've got pictures of all the boxes.
Yeah, I believe it was.
On the city square. So,
yeah,
roughly, we had both sides of the sidewalk full of boxes, yeah.
Yeah, so it was about 22 to 26 people, from what I remember. It was, we actually had somebody that raised around $700 just to sleep outside.
Any other questions? All right, ready to vote? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Thanks, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council, appreciate it.
So we're skipping 9, B, and C, as we said before, so we're on to 10, which actually we're going to do a committee of the whole meeting instead of doing the project under the regular council agenda. So then we are to communications and recommendations of the mayor. And I have two items that I want to bring up tonight. One has to do with the agreement that we have with WEDC. This is coming back again, but EDC and Doc Addies, we still need to fix that agreement so that WEDC and the City of Waupaca are on the same page as far as what that agreement is. And so that will be brought back to the next council meeting, and there'll be some discussion on how to handle that. Okay? And then the other thing, and Peg alluded to this a little bit before, has to do with sick leave. That will be on our next council agenda too for employee sick leave. I think it's important for employees to understand this, and I can only speak for the mayor's office at this time, but I think the council has shown this in the past that we are not looking to reduce the amount of benefits that our employees are receiving or have already earned. But It has been brought up by Peg, and I think we need to have a fair discussion on how sick leave is being handled and how we want to handle it in the future. So, again, I think it's very important that all employees understand that we are not looking to reduce the number of what you've already earned. We are not looking to reduce what you've earned in the past. We are only looking at a request that came from Peg, who is the library director. So that's all we're looking for. Oh, yeah, and then also we have the annual Inland Lakes meeting, which is also on the 15th. We're going to start that right at 6 o'clock, though, so we'll do the Inland Lakes first, and then we'll do the city council meeting right after that. We are all, as city council members, we are also are they called commissioners there? So we are also the commissioners for the inland waters within the city of Waupaca. So we'll have a discussion on the budget and any other items that will come up on that. Anybody else have anything? Steve Hackett wanted to see if we could do anything about the Brewers slide, but I don't know if we can do anything about that tonight, so we'll move on then. So we're looking for now don't get up and leave, remember, we're having a committee of the whole meeting afterwards, so I don't want to have to drag you back in. So we're looking for a motion to adjourn. Hagan?
Second.
Peterson. Motion by Hagan, second by Peterson, that we adjourn our regular council meeting. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Against? Motion's carried. We are adjourned at 6:23 p.m.